Welcome back to D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. We're here to talk about being aligned and misaligned with alignments.
Woohoo!
So everybody, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Kelly. I am typically chaotic neutral.
And what are you in real life?
Chaotic neutral. No, actually, I'm chaotic good.
Yes.
More lawful, yeah.
No, because I'm fucking crazy.
Okay, I can accept that.
I will totally do a 180 and I can go from normal to crazy in less than 60 seconds.
But you do like to follow the rules as long as they're rules you don't feel are unjust.
Exactly. But I totally am 100% a believer in situational ethics. Some chaotic good.
So, my name is Jocelyn, and I have played many different characters on CPPN. I normally go for a good alignment, because I have a hard time playing evil. Even if we are playing, like, a bad crew, I'm still like, oh, but we don't want to murder those children, do we? And everybody else is like, yes, we do. I'm like, I can't do it, I have to leave the room. So, the worst I can do is a neutral character. So I tend to play chaotic good a lot, chaotic neutral. Sometimes if I feel like the rest of the group is going a little darker, then I go for neutral. So at least I won't be in the situation where I'm playing lawful good and the rest of my party turns out to be chaotic, neutral, and evil. And I'm like, I think I have to kill my party. Because that's real awkward.
Because that happens.
Because it happens and has happened.
Also, you've met my brother.
Yes.
Never.
So, in real life, I would describe myself as being mostly chaotic good, occasionally chaotic neutral. And I, like my comedy partner Glenn, I do believe that there's sort of a more universal ethics. And so I don't care about man-made laws and the shit that's on the books. If it's unjust and not right, I'm not fucking doing it. So that has been my probably moral compass since I could walk and talk. I always knew that I would steal the bread if that's what it required for me to live.
Yep.
And I always knew I would take down the oppressive man. And that makes me sound really radical and crazy. And I do wear a lot of black. So maybe I am.
And who's Skyping in?
I'm Skyping in. I've only played really the once, and I think I'm chaotic. Or I'm not chaotic, but I'm neutral. Or good.
Neutral good.
Would you like me to cover the alignments real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's my alignment as Violet?
Okay, so when it comes to alignments kind of swing on a pendulum. You have lawful and chaotic. So lawful is you like structure, chaotic is you're like woohoo whatever with neutral in the middle, and then you have good, which you're basically altruistic, doing things for the greater good, and then you have evil, which is a little more selfish and self-centered. So starting,
Chaotic. I'm neutral good or chaotic good.
So starting from the top of the list, we've got lawful good, which are creatures that can be counted on to do the right thing as expected by society. Gold dragons, paladins, and most dwarves are lawful good because they like that structure and they're doing the right thing for their clan, and they're good like that. Then we've got neutral good, which is my personal preference, which is the folks do their best they can to help others according to their needs. Most celestials, some cloud giants. I'd love to see a neutral good cloud giant. That would just be funny. And most gnomes are neutral good.
Okay.
So they don't care about the chaos or the lawful. They pick as they choose between that, but they do the good just for the good. Then we've got the chaotic good, which is the fun alignment. That's the one where creatures act as their conscience directs, and with little regard for what others expect. Many copper dragons, elves, and unicorns are chaotic good.
I always knew I was a unicorn.
Yeah, a long time ago when the earth...
Yeah, also, I've had to spell out on dating applications that I do not accept unicorn hunters. FYI. For realsies, legit.
Then we have lawful neutral, which are individuals that act in accordance to law, tradition, personal codes. Many monks and some wizards are lawful neutral, so that's kind of traditionalist. You stick to tradition because it's tradition.
Right.
Then you have neutral, which Jocelyn and I, both agree on this one.
We are
Oh
on
no,
the
you're
same
not
page.
the only one.
This is the black sheep of the alignment family.
Yeah.
This alignment of those who prefer to steer clear of moral questions and don't take sides, doing what seems the best at the time. Now, two of these examples are the only two I really can accept as true neutral. Lizard folk, who are basically crocodiles, who are going on pure instinct, and druids, most druids who are of the feral perspective, so they're more reactionary to the environment as opposed to moral quandary.
Right.
And then it says many humans are neutral.
I disagree.
totally
That says
disagree.
horrible things about humans.
Yeah.
Well, and my opinion is nobody can play true neutral.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to
It's so difficult.
Because it's so reactionary. Because the problem is you have no standing.
do. And I
Yeah.
also feel like true neutral in a gaming group is a bit of a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
I've mostly seen it from people who are like, I don't want to make a commitment, so I really can do the thing that's going to be the most powerful in the moment, just because I'm a power gamer.
And it is a power gamer alignment because you're not pinned down and you can do technically anything. But the problem is once you start
And not
doing
be penalized.
once you're doing things, you're picking a side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have chaotic neutral, which is one that I know a lot of adventurers like, because creatures that follow their whims and hold their personal freedom above all else. Many barbarians, rogues, some bards are chaotic neutral. Robin Hood's chaotic neutral. He bucked the system.
Elves
I would
tend to
call
be
Robin
chaotic.
Hood chaotic good.
Yeah.
He bucked the system to do good in his
The greater
mind.
good.
Exactly, I agree.
Then we have my second favorite alignment, just because I used to play Palladium RPGs and play Aberrant, which was evil with a code of honor. The lawful evil. The other side of the lawful good.
This is the way I actually view most lawful creatures.
It's true.
As secretly lawful evil, pretending to be good. They're really evil.
Creatures methodically take what they want within the limits of their code of tradition, loyalty, or order. Devils, blue dragons, hobgoblins are all lawful evil. Because you could quite easily say lawful good and lawful evil or Judge Dredd. I am the law.
No, Judge
Now
Dredd
is a perfect example, I think.
Mhm.
he's really good. Yeah, because the law is more important to him than whether it's just.
Mm-hmm.
In just doing good or not, I would actually call him lawful neutral.
Yeah.
Because he will just follow the law no matter what.
Just from rote as opposed to translation.
There's no subtlety for him.
Then we have neutral evil, this alignment for those who do whatever they can and get away with without compassion or qualms. Many drow, cloud giants, and Yugoths are neutral evil. Because it's evil for evil's sake.
Social justice drow.
Yeah?
Listen, the social justice drow was obviously lawful good.
Okay, because it wasn't, she's choosing to go away from the whole drow culture.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's very much boxing me in as a drow to say that I have to participate in the drow culture. I was clearly adopted by the halflings. I clearly am able to make my own understanding and to follow a greater morality. Goodness. And also, why are we always pigeonholing drow? It's just not just.
I agree. No race should, in theory, be pigeonholed to any alignment. Because if they're intelligent, they can choose to go their own direction.
Exactly.
But playing the social justice drow was an incredibly fun character to play.
And then we've got the Joker of the D&D world. The chaotic evil. Those who just want to see the world burn.
Right?
Creatures act with arbitrary violence spurred by their greed, hatred, or bloodlust. Demons, red dragons, orcs are all chaotic evil. Because, of course, that gives us that whole we burn it just because we can burn it. We're the scorpion that stings you just because it's who I am.
Right?
And it's good to have some of those typecast baddies in the world, because then that's the baddies you can count on being baddies that are unpredictable.
Yeah. And to me, well, I actually find lawful evil characters to be the most distressing.
Because you can find common ground.
No, I don't find common ground with those fuckers. Are you
Hogar.
kidding? But lawful evil is the sort of person who thinks that being a Nazi is okay because you're following the laws.
Mm-hmm.
And that's horrifying.
The fact that they can find that moral superiority that's not really there.
Well, I mean, they're like, it's the law.
Mm-hmm.
And they're more about the law than they are about whether or not that law is just or, humane or appropriate. They've just elevated the law beyond everything else. And it's enabled them to do horrific things in the name of the law. Or,
I'm just following orders.
Right? And so, I mean, chaotic evil, you can't predict. That's also terrible.
It's a force
Evil's
of nature.
evil. But, like, a lawful evil person, you could sit down and have a dinner party with them and not realize that you're sitting across the table from somebody who's truly horrific. You're always going to know when you're sitting across from a chaotic evil person that person would set me on fire. They don't care.
But that lawful evil person will have you to dinner. You'll have a pleasant conversation, pleasant dinner, but you're there to die because you broke the rules, and they'll have no compunctions about killing you after that pleasant dinner.
Right.
Like some of the best villains out there, like Prince John.
Yeah.
Or Khan.
Yes.
The tiger that's just doing his job. He's controlling in the Jungle Book. He's just doing what the tiger does. You know?
Yeah.
Completely horrifically evil, but he's just doing his job.
He's just following the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And of course, the worst part is when you have this pinnacle shining knight that you think is a good guy, and you find out he's really just lawful evil and playing his part.
Yes, that is absolutely the worst, especially if you've been dating him. I mean, whoops.
Whoops. So Evie, which one do you think is your favorite alignment?
Well, I think I like the idea of the chaotic just because it opens up the door to a lot more interesting things. I can totally see what you guys are saying about neutral being a total cop-out.
Neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In playing video games like Fable.
Oh, I love that game.
Both ways, good and evil. But my natural tendency is to lean towards the gooder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a real hard time being absolutely evil, but in real life, I do believe that there's such a thing as social appropriateness as opposed to social mores. I tend to live my life on social appropriateness rather than what society says I should think and feel and do and be. Because I don't agree with what society told me I should be. I kind of gave that a bye.
Right.
But
so
now,
in real life, I would be a chaotic. I would say chaotic good because I really don't hurt people.
yeah.
No.
And you have a good
agree.
heart.
But there's a chaotic in that. You know what? I'm making my own decisions on each thing based on that thing, rather than on law or social mores or whatever like that. So it's like, no, I make my own decisions because I have a brain.
And think about it, being a creative maker, that leads to the more chaotic because you're breaking tradition. You're making something new. You're trying different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good
You're
point.
creating something new all the time.
Uh-huh.
I think I would tend to be much more of a chaotic individual. And so that would be my first tendency for the first couple rules, and I think that's why I picked chaotic for Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that that's what I know, and I can play it while I'm learning the rules of the game. I may try other shit later.
Yeah.
Because that's really, for me, that's what the whole idea of D&D is that you're trying on different stuff that isn't you.
Mm-hmm.
And, that brings up a point, is like trying things on and stuff. It's totally possible to change your character in-game. Like, hey, your character evolves, it takes on, has new experiences, and it's developing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And same as, I think it's perfectly fair to call somebody out not playing their alignment.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that, what, dude? Or dude,
Yes.
being the non-gender.
Person.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's like, dude is not. It's like, you change your alignment, if you can't play that, if you can't play what it is, just change the alignment.
Yeah.
don't continue to say you're one thing when you're totally acting like a completely different.
And that's one thing I know a lot of players and GMs are squeamish of is the whole changing alignment in a game. Dude, go for it. If you're acting more of this way than that way, or if your character has a cool pinnacle moment that changes the way their perspective is, it makes perfect sense that when you level...
It's part of the drama.
You can either do, like in older editions, the fun thing was having your alignment start slipping.
Yeah.
So you go from like, okay, I'm lawful good to now lawful neutral.
Right.
Because all of a sudden I'm less altruistic and more in the moment. I'm picking which one I want to be.
Yeah.
Then if bad acts continue, you're now lawful evil.
Right.
You know, or if all of a sudden you're lawful good and you start just doing random acts of violence. Well, that's not lawful anymore unless there's a secret reason, maybe.
Right.
However, I honestly think that, like, say, okay, you start off as lawful good. You start doing shit that's bad. Okay, then you start slipping, okay, and your character then, basically goes to chaotic neutral at that point. I don't feel that given a character arc that character could ever go back to lawful good, ever.
No redemption story for you?
No, and see, but redemption is different. Then redemption would be more chaotic good, because you can't take away those things, I think, that... those experiences.
Once you kill the younglings, there's no going back.
Yeah,
Hey, I agree
that
with
would be
that.
Chaotic evil.
Once you do these bad things, you can never fully get back to where you are unless you spend a long
even
time.
though Darth Vader changed his mind at the end and stuff, and he got to be a ghost again and stuff. I'm sorry, he's not lawful good anymore. No matter what he did at the end. I
still joke with friends on that one. Vader still was evil. He was just keeping the Emperor from killing his son, who was going to rule the universe with him, as father and son united.
Yeah. Well, I don't see Vader's evolution the same way as you do, Jim. I do believe in redemption. I think it's an important story arc element. But I hear what you're saying, Kelly. Like, once you've embraced chaos... it's hard to return to a lawful aspect. Exactly.
You can still redeem yourself, but I don't think you can go so far as to be the total opposite end, because the experiences color your perception at that point.
I would say that if I were running a game and somebody wanted to have that redemption arc, they would have to sell it pretty hard. I would need to see a lot of work to have somebody, like, renounce their chaotic ways. And it would... to me, it would be forever a pitfall that they would have to avoid. Like, you cannot slip. If you want to return to lawful good, though, God, why would you? But if you wanted to...
Well,
when you start as a paladin and then you become a fallen paladin, you lose all your godly powers.
Or think about those reformed sinners that become totally right, hardcore. To me... they're not like pinnacles at that point where where they try to be this pinnacle of paragon of society type of thing. No, they're just as, because they tend to make others feel bad or persecute others for the sins that they themselves had committed, and that because I have seen the light and I've changed my ways, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
That drops them down from being,
That's lawful evil right there.
See, so it's like, there's a lot of perspectives. So, alignment is a tricky thing. It really is.
And before we started this conversation, our mutual friend Glenn was talking to us before he had to go off on another thing. And, he really did point out that alignment is tricky. It's not necessarily indicative of lived experience in human reality. I think the best games are ones where a GM, like Jim, understands... Thank you. I haven't run a game in a while, but I do love to do it. But understands that alignment flexes, alignment changes. Sometimes even if we have alignment, we can break that occasionally and still mostly be that alignment. It's when, you have somebody who's just like, no, I'm lawful good and spends a lot of time killing prisoners all over the place, you're like,
I don't think that
That
lawful
word
good
means
means
what you think it means.
yeah, we're gonna have to change your alignment now.
Now, if there were, gnolls running around, okay, maybe that I could see because they're baby-eating monsters that are chaotic creatures of baby-eating monsterness.
Well, and the fact
Yeah.
that their god chooses to, I mean, like...
They're insane.
Yeah.
They're just, conditionally insane.
Yeah.
And dark and evil. And
Mm. All those things. All those things.
But
Well, not all orcs have to be evil, okay?
it's
Well, we're
no,
talking
it's true.
gnolls,
And,
but,
and
yeah.
we've done groups where we've had tribe of orcs raised by a different god than the norm,
Right.
who taught them differently. Maybe a missionary goes out there and teaches a group of creatures different cultures.
And now I'm going to say something really subversive. Even in the D&D world, the question is it nature versus nurture?
Yeah.
And I think in our games, we tend to treat it as nurture
Yes.
really matters when it comes to morality and alignment.
Mhm.
But that it's nature when it comes to, are you a magic user?
Yeah.
Are you rogue? Your morality, though, is about the nurture. And so I like that we've been able to have things like hobgoblins and, goblins and orcs who
That have
become
seen
allies.
different paths.
Yeah, or the social justice drow.
Yeah.
Who's definitely not a bad character.
Because after all, you can have Drizzt,
Mm.
a good drow.
I'm a full hero orc barbarian.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And you embrace that shit,
You are wonderful.
I mean, think about it. You could have angels that have been tortured to become evil. You could have good dragons that have been, tortured to become bad, or raised to be bad,
Right.
or cursed to be bad. Because remember, there's always been in D&D those cursed items and magic items that change alignments too.
Yeah.
So no alignment's 100% in stone,
Right.
except for, of course, like creatures that don't have free will and are
Yes.
just behaving on instinct.
And most of us like to have free will.
Yeah, free
Yeah.
will is good.
Free will is righteous.
It's the biggest trick the gods ever committed.
I mean, if you believe in that sort of thing. So, that's where I'm at with alignment.
Yeah. But alignment is a very tricky topic. And I don't think that a lot of groups or GMs actually go into discussions on it. They just kind of, okay, well, just pick one and move on.
Yeah, and I think it's really one of those amazing qualities of developing your character that can be so rich, but it does require people to give it some thought and to play to their alignment or to struggle with their alignment.
Mhm.
And you're right, Kelly. Like, I've been in so many groups where people are like, well, just pick your alignment, and there's no discussion about how it's going to affect your character. Whereas,
Or the relationships between characters.
right. Whereas in our groups, we're usually really aware of how the alignment dynamic affects how we react to each other, as well as how it affects our choices.
Mhm.
I love that.
Well,
That
and
is just a lot more about who we are as human beings.
Yeah, well, and
Just be open and communicate.
I
Well,
mean, we've got...
we appreciate the whole background. I mean, one of the things about D&D 5th edition that it encourages the role in playing it.
The ROLE versus the ROLL.
Exactly, and one of the big reasons why I really love 5th edition is because of that.
Mhm.
And they help you create these character backgrounds. And I think that the alignment is another layer on
Mhm.
top of that to help you, insight to your character, and that's why I think that it can be fluid and that it can change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you have to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, I loved in the older D&Ds for the new GMs when they'd get to like the pre-gen cities and things, it would tell you what the general alignment is. So that way it could tell you, this town is chaotic evil. So it's a biker town that you're going to get dragged out into the streets because there's no rule of law other than strength, Or, hey, this
Might
is
makes
lawful
right.
neutral. So there's laws, don't break them,
Yeah. Yeah.
The politicians might be a little corrupt, but it's mostly lawful neutral,
Right.
Or then you find out the town's lawful good, and you're like, guys, be on your best behavior.
Right.
Because you could step in the grass and die.
Yeah, well, if you're not supposed to step on the grass.
You know.
But they probably won't kill you. They'll just, like, sentence you to, several weeks of grass cutting.
Yes, give you a semi-Buddhist punishment,
Because they're lawful good.
Yeah.
They're not just
If they were lawful neutral,
Well,
they could take your hand off.
I was referencing the Star Trek episode where Wesley stepped on the
Oh,
grass.
When he trips and hits that little...
Yes.
And it didn't matter. They're like, no, that's law.
Yes.
No, that's the law.
Talk about a lawful, neutral society where the justice of the law is just not even
There is no
considered.
spirit of the law. It's just the law.
Right.
Yeah. There's no wiggle room for
That's
justifiable.
such a great episode, actually.
So that's why I was...
And then, in Star Trek, there was an episode of Next Gen where Wesley's playing football with these aliens.
With these locals on this
with these
planet.
young kids. And he basically trips and falls on the grass and hits this little greenhouse thing and breaks it. And of course, his folks are like, are you okay? He's fine. But then immediately he's clapped in irons and dragged off.
Yeah.
And basically it was a don't step on the grass, you broke any type of law, boom, it's a death sentence.
And ignorance of the law is not forgiveness
exactly,
of the law.
is not forgiveness of the law. So even though he's from off planet, had no idea, they were, so of course they have to try and get him off.
Mm-hmm.
They have to save Wesley.
Well, yeah.
And of course that's
an taking
example.
it to the extreme of...
But that's, like in D&D, that's one of the great things. If you look at, cultures interpret them with alignments,
Yeah.
It's like, think about it. Cutting a thief's hands off is a horrible act, but really, is it horrible or is it more of a lawful neutral? It's still horrible.
I have my opinion on that. I think I covered how I feel about being overly lawful early
Or
on.
if you're in an oppressive society where if you, get caught spitting on the sidewalk, you get caned.
Yeah.
That could be on the negative spectrum.
Could be. I might find that negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that pretty negative. Having done a lot of research into Nazi Germany,
Yeah.
it was very much a very lawful society.
Yeah.
The fact that the laws were being created by people who were pretty evil.
That comes into the problem with a lawful society is who's writing the laws.
Also, that's why it's important to oppose laws you know to be unjust.
Mm-hmm. Because laws are stepping stones.
Also, laws are created by humans, therefore they're not infallible.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, Jim Crow! Sorry. Sorry, it just slipped out.
It happens.
Sorry.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
But again, we basically go back to the fact that this is a tricky thing. And you know what? I think that's why some people, gamers, don't want to think about it. Because, hey... And while we may not consciously always focus on those types of things when we're crafting our characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But for us, I know we typically pay attention to it. Yeah. But we don't let it bog us down typically.
Yeah.
No, we're able to navigate that without being bogged down.
Exactly. So, whereas, I know a lot of people like, oh, let's just have a quick fun game and stuff. They don't want to necessarily... casual players won't necessarily, focus on that type of thing, which is fine. I mean, if that's the group, hey, if I'm in a pickup group, I'm not going to be, if I'm at some gaming convention where I only have 4 hours period for this one shot, I will try and pay attention to it, but it's not going to be my main focus.
Right.
But if I'm doing a long campaign with a group over an extended period of time, yeah, you may want to take a little more time to,
come up
sort
a lot
that
more
type of
often
thing out.
in choices.
Right.
Exactly. And the dynamic is it's going to make it different with that dynamic. So,
and from a GM's point of view, it's great when alignment comes into play because that's the difference between you capture them and tie them up, or you capture them and you execute the prisoners.
Right, or you capture them and torture them for information.
Mm-hmm.
So
and from an NPC point of view, it comes down to if the bad guy, if you say surrender and I'll let you live, will they surrender and try to stab you in the back, or will they surrender and they will keep the parlay, you know.
Right.
Hey, I only hit him in the throat once, and I agreed to take my knife away from his throat just because I was tricking him into. I wasn't actually hurting him.
No, and you were right.
And he was chaotic evil, so
And he was, exactly. So,
he was all about destroying the world through
but I was
drought.
giving him more of a benefit than he would have given me.
It's true.
So, whereas I wouldn't have actually truly just killed him if I had him at my mercy, and I did, I was actually kind and let him, like, of course it caused problems because I was being, generous in taking my dagger away from his throat.
And that's
But
why,
I digress.
And that's why our lawful good monk jumped out the window at the first command. I will catch him!
Maybe not.
Bad time for bad rolls.
Oh my gosh, it worked out though.
Yes, and that's the magical role-playing game, because you never really know.
The bad rolls make for a much more interesting game.
Exactly.
That's
Failing
true.
forward really does add a good dynamic to gaming.
And I know we all, like, especially have certain characters that we never want to see die because they're just that,
Yeah,
part of
they're
us.
amazing.
But sometimes, there's times when, you can go out in the most dramatically beautiful cinematic way and it becomes this
Beautiful
this beautiful death or this story that you
It's a beautiful moment in the story.
and it makes for a very cinematic moment. So, I mean, don't be afraid. I mean, I know if you put a lot of time and effort into a character,
It's hard to let them go.
it's hard, but
Come on, look at Valerian from Conan.
Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, I did
Can I
have
work
this
forever?
talk with Jim when my monk I thought was going to die after jumping out the window. I was like, I'm okay. I'm
And we
okay
discussed
with it.
and
ideas,
soulless
too.
and
Mhm.
So,
And
and
it's
it's funny. Your moment, I saved you,
yes,
and in my moment, you saved me.
that's right.
and
How funny is that?
And when you're gaming, it's cool to talk amongst yourselves about cool ideas that you might not think about that your character would think about. Because,
Right.
Use your ladle as a grappling hook.
you
It
know?
was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And I could so see a monk do that and then running sideways down the spire, you know?
Right?
Totally doing the Jackie Chan, ninja move.
It was a great moment. It was a lot of fun. It was also like, honestly, I definitely had a moment of panic, like, but I just started to really understand this character. Fuck.
So let's all take a turn to pick a character in fiction that matches an alignment. Evie, I'm going to give you the easy one. What's a character that you like that's lawful good?
Sam Vines.
Oh, yes.
He's consciously lawful good, but he's fighting some
Yeah.
neutral or evil going on, and he fights it all the time.
Okay. Kelly, I'm going to give you a hard one.
Huh.
Neutral good.
Neutral good. Okay,
That's a
let's
muddy
see.
one.
Yeah, that one.
I actually know a really good example of that one.
Hold on, give me a sec. Let's see here. Neutral good. You know what? I'm going to have to say Lando Calrissian.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Ooh.
Yeah, because initially he's really just...
Yeah, he helps others according to their needs.
Uh-huh.
You know?
I mean, he's
And
not
the
a bad
desires of
guy,
his Kate.
Yeah.
but it's pretty much... It's what... It's all about him.
harmless evils.
Yeah, and it's like, and he may be,
Mm-hmm.
a bit, he may be a bit of a thief and it's like
rogue.
a
A
rogue,
wretch.
a bit of a rogue. But he's not malicious. He's not, he's just, trying to set himself up. If he doesn't have to hurt you, he won't. But
So Jocelyn, chaotic good. I actually have a really good thought right there.
All right, I want to know what yours is, but like Han Solo, of course, classic chaotic goods.
Mhm.
Ant-Man, I look at as being chaotic goods.
yeah,
Like Guardians of the Galaxy. Those fuckers.
Yeah,
are like,
pretty much all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rocket Raccoon. You can.
well, he's more chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
What's it say?
I need that guy's
Yeah,
arm.
I'm obviously going to have to watch those stupid movies because I've never seen them.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
girl, you will like them. They're really cute.
See,
They're super
for
funny.
chaotic good, I was going to say Dean.
Oh, Dean! Dean. Yeah, no, he's totally chaotic good.
I'll take lawful neutral. That's a hard one because
Mhm.
it's all about tradition and doing. I'll actually have to go with Uncle from Last Airbender.
Oh.
I don't see him. I see him as neutral
You
good.
see him as neutral good? Well, okay, yeah, I'll accept that. Traditions.
Neutral?
Yeah, lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral.
Lawful.
So you're all about law, tradition, and personal codes. We're talking like Bushido style stuff, but still good or neutral-ish.
Judge Dredd.
No, because he would be. He's beyond neutral.
Do you think so?
I don't know,
I really
because
think...
he, like, all it is follow.
yes.
Okay.
Because in the
It's
comic
like,
book, he like
follow
massacres hundreds of people in every issue.
Okay, so I've
Okay,
never
see,
read
I'm
the
like-
Yeah,
comic.
I'm
if you're
thinking-
talking like Sly Stallone,
Yes, lawful
that
neutral.
would be neutral. But if
Yeah.
you're talking like the comic book Judge Dredd, where he guns
I've
down
never read the
100
comic
people,
book.
you know,
Yeah, no.
No, and I'm not talking the Carlo Bomb one.
No.
where it's even more violent.
Yeah,
It's-
but Carlo Bon is definitely the sexier Judge Dredd.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And Lena Headey was amazing as the bad
So
person.
good.
So we won't even mention neutral other than saying Sobek the crocodile.
Yeah, Sobek the crocodile. Neutral,
Mhm.
neutral.
Okay, so then we've got Evie. This is going to be a hard one. Chaotic neutral. Holds their personal freedoms above all else. Actually, I got a good one for this.
Do you have one, Evie?
No, I don't.
I have one.
What do you have?
I have Jane from Firefly.
Oh.
That would be a really good one. Also, the two
Yeah.
guys from the City of Gold cartoon, the rogues, they're basically, you remember there's the memes of them being bards?
Oh, you mean the El Dorado.
El
the
Dorado.
movie El
Yeah,
Dorado.
the City of Gold.
Yes.
They would both be chaotic neutral.
What about Loki? He's kind of chaotic neutral.
Yeah, because he doesn't really do totally evil stuff. It's more like prankstery stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
but he
sometimes
can
he's...
go off the edge,
And sometimes he's really good.
and sometimes he's just really mean.
Yeah, but Rocket
No, I
Raccoon
see
is...
more petty as opposed to mean.
Right? Rocket Raccoon is definitely like chaotic
Chaotic
neutral.
Neutral, yeah, because he just wants it for the shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, follows their whims, holding their
Yeah.
personal freedom above all else.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, what's wrong with blowing up? Blowing stuff up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun.
So Jocelyn, lawful evil.
Oh, Lawful Evil. My favorite. The judge in The Crucible.
Ooh, that's a good
Ah.
one. See, here's my vote.
Oh,
Oh,
the
I was
Emperor
I was
Palpatine.
actually gonna say Snoke.
Snoke.
Oh, Snoke, yeah.
Yeah, Snoke for sure.
Because he wants
He wants control,
you know,
absolute control.
Oh. Age of Ultron. Thanos.
Yeah.
Lawful evil. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Fuck him and his chin. Fuck him all the way.
With a snap of my finger.
Die in a fire, Thanos.
How about unfuck him? That takes away the last good one he had.
Aww.
So Kelly, neutral evil.
Neutral
Does
evil?
whatever they can get away with without compassion or qualms.
Oh well. Let's see here. I would have to say give me a moment.
It's a
Find
rough
somebody
one.
deliciously evil. You know what? Oh god, what's his name?
Give us some hints.
The it's another Firefly reference. The Russian
You pay
mobster.
too much.
Oh, yes. Fuck.
Starts with
I
a
know.
Z, doesn't it?
No, it's oh my god, it's totally
Yeah,
gone
but
out
it's
of-
you paid too much.
It's like Bob played him.
Yeah, at the
dressed
fire-
him as a one
Yes.
of the
Mhm.
God.
yeah.
Fans at home are going to be screaming the name right now.
Yeah.
I know, and
Yes.
I'm just so tired right now that
It's alright. I
Mhm.
can't remember his name either, but I can
Yeah.
see
Yes,
the actor
with the
doing
big old
the thing.
knife.
uh-huh.
So good.
I see him. He's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's a
Neutral
good one
evil.
because he's not doing it because he's wanting to be petty or anything. He's just doing it because it's just business.
Yeah.
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
neutral evil.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely not chaotic. She definitely
She's very planned, but she's not lawful, and
no.
she's got that great
Definitely not
neutrality if she just wants to do what she wants to do.
Yeah, and
Society's having an issue with
you know,
it.
She just wants that fur coat, damn it.
And
She's-
then Robot Chicken makes a funny haha where they give her the dogs because the dogs keep multiplying.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's really a service what I'm doing.
Shit.
We need to get you to see Robot Chicken.
Yes, we
sometime.
do. Did my phone time out or
Oh.
did
Did I think we
I think we
lost her.
died.
I don't know. Let's see here. We should.
Well, I'm going to run to the restroom then.
Oh no, it totally died.
It died. Okay, we have one last one, which I think everyone has a good example of. Chaotic evil. Everyone chime in.
Oh my
on
god,
this one.
Joker. Heath Ledger's Joker.
Joker.
Friggin' see the world burn, you know.
Aw.
I mean, that guy was...
You can't. That
You
one
can't
won't fit.
predict evil. I
No,
mean,
you can
where
just, like,
they're just, you know, you don't know what crazy shit they're gonna do.
Could also be Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, nothing
no,
beats
not
the Joker.
Jaws, because Jaws is driven
It's an
only
animal,
by
so
his
it's neutral.
hunger. You have ones that you
Oh,
want to...
Samuel L. Jackson's character in Kong,
Oh, yeah.
where he goes nuts to kill Kong
Yeah.
for no real reason other
Other
than he
than
wants
it-
to be the biggest badass out there.
And that, oh, he killed my men. Well, you attacked it first, type of thing.
Uh-huh.
Right.
You know.
So alignments, misalignments.
Yes.
Now, if only you could have alignments and aspects from the fate system together.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
But that would be so much paperwork.
That'd be a lot of paperwork.
5th edition was meant to par down the paperwork.
Yes.
That was one of its goals.
And that's a great place to wrap it up there.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, assigned to Ragnarok Story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to D&D Journey of the 5th Edition, a member of the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And remember, be careful out there. There be dragons about.
Yeah, oh, wait. I have one favorite chaotic good character to throw in. Harry Dresden.
Harry freaking Blackstone Dresden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, that would be a great one.
And I would call Murphy Lawful Good.
Oh, she's an perfect example of lawful good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes!
Yes, chaotic neutral for the Bob.
Bob is definitely...
And then you have Butters.
Oh, Butters.
Another lawful good.
I love Butters.